Morning, everybody, and welcome to the meeting. I'll open the meeting at 9:03, and thank you for your attendance. Could I please have someone have confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting on the 12th of February 2025?
I just want to touch, Mayor, that Councillor Burkett's online.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we'll have Councillor Burkett online. Sorry. Thank you. Councillor Seawright.
I confirm that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on 12th of February 2025 be confirmed.
Have a seconder. Councillor Davis. All those in favour? You there, John? Councillor Burkett, are you online? He was a minute ago.
He's taken it off talk. It's muted again.
I'm not muted, no. Councillor Burkett, are you online?
Yeah, I did say yes, and then it cut out and
Okay.
come back on, but I did vote yes.
Thank you. 9-0. 8.1, which is on page 19. 8.1, amendment to resolution setting of the meeting dates 2025. Do I have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that council amend resolution number OM/11.2024/38 to read as follows. The council 1, adopt the revised ordinary meeting schedule as presented. 2, hold all ordinary meetings and briefings at council's Roma Administration Centre. 3, commence all ordinary meetings at 9 a.m. 4, hold councillor briefings, which may include accommodation of agenda familiarisation sessions, briefing topics, deputation, community engagement activities on a Wednesday on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th week of each month, and commence briefings at either 8:30 a.m. or 9 a.m, subject to need. And 5, note that any future schedule changes to the ordinary meeting schedule are subject to formal approval by council, and any changes to the briefing schedule, including times, are subject to informal agreement by council.
I have a seconder. Councillor Vincent, would you like to speak, councillor?
Very briefly, thanks, Mayor. We have all had a real go at making a good fit in terms of schedule for this term of council. It's been identified that holding all briefings and community engagement and deputations, etc., would align best on a Wednesday, and that our ordinary meetings going forward for the remainder of this year will be held on a Thursday. Pleasingly, we've all worked together to ensure that this works across all of councillors' schedules, both internal and external to their council commitments, and I'm pleased to have this before us today, and we'll see the change happen from March onwards.
Thank you. Anyone against? Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. 11.1, monthly financial report as of the 31st of January 2025. Do I have a mover? Councillor Brompton.
I move that council receive and note the monthly financial report for the period ended 31st of January 2025.
Do I have a seconder?
Questions?
Councillor Vincent, you have a question, Councillor Hancock?
Just in the executive summary, it's saying that our expected forecast by the end of June is in line with our budgeted deficit of 6.8 mil. But further on in the report, shouldn't that be less the savings that we have found? Because it's listed in this report.
At the time,
This is January.
yeah,
This is
at the time,
January's.
that was the forecast.
We're adopting as at the 31st of January and
Yep.
we haven't adopted the savings yet.
Yeah, I understand that, but I read the savings in this report about the capital. Anyway, I don't know. I mustn't have unloaded, but I read it somewhere in this report about our savings, so I was just wondering, it should have been acknowledged then, but I will find it at a later date. I'm okay, Mayor.
You're right. Or you're looking?
Oh. No, it's all good.
Okay. I've just got one on the BP leases. It's still mentioned on those BP leases. Are we getting any closer to that? It's 6 months now, like,
Yes, as I understand it, Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor, I apologise. The lease is, I know with the Saleyards, we're talking about that Saleyards precinct, is still with BP.
it's just crazy.
The airport
Oh,
precinct.
sorry, airport. Sorry, apologies, airport.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Councillor O'Neill.
Well, they're obviously not in a hurry. Oh, the
We get-
reason we're not in a hurry?
No, Dean did give an update on it there last week, but this one is as of January, so it's a
Yeah,
January
yeah.
report. That's where we were as of January, so take your point, that probably, I'll follow that for you
Yeah,
today,
alright.
but this is actually as we were.
So I'm not
in
going to see it
January.
in February. That's what you're telling me.
Well, we've got February's next one, so.
All right. So anyone else got any questions? Who moved it? Oh, would you like to speak to it, councillor?
No, we'll have more discussion, I think, in the next, which is the quarterly budget review, so I'm happy to hold discussion until that one.
Okay. Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. 11.2. 24-25 quarter 2 budget amendment, budget review. Do I have a mover? Councillor Brompton.
I move that Council 1, pursuant to Section 94 of the Local Government Act 2009 and Sections 169 and 170 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, adopt the amended budget for the 24-25 financial year incorporating 1, the Statement of Income and Expenditure, 2, the Statement of Financial Position, 3, the Cash Flow Statement, 4, the Statement of Changes in Equity, 5, the Long-Term Financial Forecast, 6, the measures of financial sustainability, and 7, the project works program, and 2, require that no service level reductions occur as a result of this budget adoption.
Have a seconder. Councillor Vincent, would you like to speak, councillor?
Yes, we've done a lot of work around looking at where we might be able to make some savings in our materials and services. The directors have gone away and come back with some suggestions. We have some concern around service level reductions, and some of it is because we probably haven't set our service levels very well and we haven't got some contracts in place. So we have provisoed this with the fact that at this stage we don't want any service level reductions until that body of work can be done. So that may change what some of the directors' ideas were around the materials and services review. But in terms of the other components, I'd like to thank the officers for the amount of work that they've done to get us in a better position of understanding where we're at with our budget, and the work that's been done to try and align this better with where council's heading.
Anyone like to speak against?
No.
Anyone like to speak for? Councillor Vincent.
Yeah, I'd just like to acknowledge the work the staff have done. We did request that they go back and have a look at the materials and services, and they have found some significant savings there. We have got the concern around the service level, and also acknowledging some of our large projects that will go over multi-years, that we now have a better idea of the expenditure that will actually occur in this year, and then leaving the rest of that funding through to the following year as well. So thank you to the staff for the work that they've done, and Councillor Brompton as Portfolio Chair. It was a massive amount, and it was great to read it yesterday.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Hancock.
I would, but I'm just wondering, Councillor Brompton, do you think that council require that no service level, or requests that no service level?
We require
Well,
council.
request people can say no to. Require, you have to do
Require
it.
is it, so not,
Yeah.
not
That's-
insist,
yeah,
require is
yeah.
the right word?
That's what my feeling anyway.
Yeah, no, happy to go with
Yeah.
that. Mayor, yes, I'm going to support this today on the proviso that we do not cut any service levels to the community. I too would like to acknowledge all the hard work that the directors and staff have done to put into this report. They have done exactly what we asked them to do. They went out and they found some savings that they thought could come forward, and I thank them for that. For me, I just really wanted to know how much it costs for council to be able to provide the service as it stands today. And so that's the figure that I'm looking for, and it'll be really great, as Councillor Brump said, to continue working through that to be able to find out what that figure is, so that we know what it costs to have this service level, and then we can then make the decision on what service level that we want to put forward for our community. But as for now, right now, I don't want to see any service levels reduced. I am happy if staff thinks that they can change things around to continue the exact service level, but as long as it is the exact service level for council. So thanks to the staff for all their hard work. They did do what we asked them to do, so please pass that on, Director. But it does come to us to make the decision on the service level for our communities.
Anyone else
And I
like
called you a director, Robbie, and I meant CEO, sorry.
One of the savings we're looking at there, Councillor.
Just couldn't read your sign. You need to put it in bolder print.
Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mayor. I'll support this, and I echo the same comments as others have shared. We set a task to the staff, and they've executed, and it's come back for us to consider. This is only another step in this term of council getting the finances where they should. There is a cost to delivering services for our community, and we need to know that down to the dollar, so that we can understand what we want to maintain in terms of a service level for our community, and what that costs, and ultimately how do we generate the revenue to be able to continue delivering those services. So this body of work is truly appreciated. I share the similar concerns in terms of reduction of services. I was on council where there were reductions in services, particularly on outward-facing assets of council, and it caused no end of grief. And so I think we should be quite methodical about how we approach this, and I feel that point too reflects the sentiment around the table on that particular issue, and mine included. But again, Rob, to you and your team, thank you for the work you're doing. We've got some way to go yet, and I look forward to this informing the budget process for the 25-26 budget.
Anybody else like to speak? Well,
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Yep.
Oh, stop. Is it me?
Yeah, yes. Councillor.
Okay. Yeah. Also, I'd just like to commend the CEO and the directors, the senior staff, especially the local directors that work on locally on their material and services list. In the past year, it's been probably a year of uncertainty and scrutiny, and so I think you guys have done a good job on that. I think we need to remember that each year things will change, like when we get new projects that come to fruition that will add to our service level, like the pump track, Campbell's Park, all those things add a lot more pressure on our budget and staff and the running of our business. I just think as an organisation, from the staff, contractors and us as councillors, we just need to find the ways to be more efficient, have the best interests of the region at the forefront. So, yeah, once again, thank you to staff, and look forward to the next year.
Okay, I would like to say something, but it's all been said. But I really do appreciate what the staff has done, and I do appreciate what Councillor Brumpton has done as portfolio chair for finance. I know she's worked very hard to try and get it so that we can think we know what we're talking about sometimes, but no, I really do appreciate everybody's hard work, so thank you. Would you like to sum up, Councillor?
Yes, thanks. Well, firstly, it's the staff that's done all the hard work. I've done very little just in that, so really do like to, again, thank the staff. I think I did jump over a bit, but I think Councillor Vincent said, even though the project budget is less, it's not that we've cut those projects. We are actually getting better at forecasting when the dollars are going to hit the ledger. So that's what that project review is about. And yes, this is one step towards a lot more maturity, and there's a lot more work coming to council on how we're going to do our budget process and where we're heading with this. So it is good to get to this stage. We need to take some more time to get a bit further, but there was significant work done by the directors and the finance team to get to where we are, and we do really appreciate that. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. All right, with that, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. 13.1, sponsorship request, Saloon Car Club, Roma and District Inc. Councillor
Conflict
Flynn.
of interest on this particular item 13.1, and I don't know whether you want to wrap 13.2 up while I'm out of the room.
No, one at a time? Yeah.
Item 13.1, sponsorship request, Saloon Car Club of Roma and District Incorporated. The declaring councillor is myself. The person with the interest related is myself. The particular of interest, the Roma Saloon Club sponsorship request regards a function that takes place over the Easter weekend as part of the Easter in the Country festivities. I am an executive member of the Easter in the Country organisation, and therefore I believe I have a prescribed conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Thank you.
Item 13.2.
No, Pete, you can't do that one. You've got to
I've
do
got
one
to
at a
come in and
time.
out.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry. I think the system's wrong.
Do I have a mover?
I've got questions.
You have a question?
Yeah.
Yep, you can start with questions.
Just with the request, the quote says one amount and the dates are for a different date. And yeah, so, and then the request is more than what the quotes are for. So just, are they going to get charged more because it's an Easter weekend and they still won't have enough to get the ambulances? Or how is that?
Quotes actually add up to 4,300.
Yeah, so the
So
different.
why are they asking for 5?
Through Mayor, Councillor Vincent, so yes, their dates on their invoice from the Queensland Ambulance Service do say for May. They've sent me an updated copy for April invoice dates. They had asked for April a request for invoice and they were sent May dates, so that was just a discrepancy between them two. But yes, it does add to 4,300. And I did ask the Saloon Club what they plan to do with the extra $700 if it did go through as approved, and they said they'd put it to other permit related costs that they have to put on. So
And then the 3 days.
yeah, sorry, and they are hosting. They do require a paramedic on site for 3 days of racing. They've got something on the Thursday evening, which can't be advertised as it's a practice run, but they do require a paramedic on site for that. So they have been sent an updated invoice for April dates. It is 3 days of racing where they do require a paramedic. And if it did get approved for $5,000, the other $700 would go towards other permit fees that they've got to pay.
So then just on the community grants, when do they close and when, I've seen the dates for to look at them,
Yep.
but when do they normally get announced? When would they get announced?
Yeah, so they close on Friday the 28th of March. We would do the they'd be notified within up to 6 weeks. Ideally the month mark we try to let groups know, so that would take it towards the end of April. So in terms of planning for themselves, they have missed the boat. Ideally they would have come to us in round 1, so the August-September round. But they have been notified that potentially sponsorship will become slightly stricter, and they have to be more on the ball with community grant applications, and they were happy.
So can I, oh, sorry, you finished, Jane?
Yeah.
So because they've come to the table and asked for sponsorship, they don't supply any of their bank details or anything like that. So we have no idea how financial they are.
No, currently with the request form, we just ask for a breakdown of what the costs are for the event, to provide their public liability insurance certificate. But when it is an in-kind assistance or a sponsorship request, we don't ask for a lot of other details for that. And happy to look at that with the revised sponsorship request form. Yeah, but my understanding was to make it simpler for groups rather than ask for more information. But when we are trying to circulate them down more to the community grants path, then that's when we get letters of support and bank details and.
Councillor Hancock.
Madam Mayor, just in the second paragraph, it just does say that the club has been placed in a challenging financial position because they had to cancel due to the rain last year.
I saw that. Anyone got any other questions? Councillor O'Neill.
Through the Mayor, Georgie, the event not going ahead last year and our contribution of the 2,500, was that to go towards the ambulance then, or was it some other things?
I'm confident it did go towards the ambulance costs, which then that Easter event 2024 didn't happen.
Would they still have been charged for the ambulance?
No, then the money, they requested that the money be reallocated for their September event. So our sponsorship went towards the September event because they were getting a lot of members because the Easter one didn't happen. It was a bigger competition in September that they put our sponsorship, council sponsorship towards.
And so the request last year was for 2,500, but didn't cover all of the ambulance for last year?
Not sure exactly on what their quote was for the ambulance last year.
So this adds more flavour because I thought, they're asking us for 5 because it was 2.5 last year, didn't go ahead, so they'll ask for it again. But it'll be 5,000 going forward each year then.
I would imagine so. If they're planning on hosting 3 days, like the practice on the Thursday, the Friday and Saturday events, then it would be, I would think, likely to be a similar cost.
So we could probably assume, if we go this way, that a lot of organisations that also require ambulances are going to start coming to the table, unless our Friday work gets to the state government in regards to this.
Yeah, because we have asked for that to be looked at.
Sure, and the LDO's recently found, on another note, volunteer grants, not for Volunteer Week coming up in May, but just volunteer grants that can cover insurance costs. So that's another avenue we're going to start letting our community groups know. So insurance and then paramedic costs, hopefully we can start making it simpler for our groups. But through you, Mayor, Councillor Vincent, there is a chance, I suppose, if whatever happens here, that other groups will come forward requesting council to pay for ambulance fees. But our first point of call is trying to take them down the path of community grants to cover these event costs.
So maybe the next community grants should be well in advance of Easter. So that,
August, September is the previous round. So if they're starting to look at,
yeah, but when's the next one?
it's current
Now,
It's
It's too
now.
late.
Yeah.
It's too late.
But
for
it's
Easter.
too late. It's too late for them to be able to get it
Yes.
for Easter in the country. Yeah, so
but
maybe
if we
we
get our
should
new
move that.
policy through for this kind of thing, it'll be quarterly,
Yeah,
if it's supported.
yeah. Mm. All right, Councillor Brompton.
I'll move that council sponsor the Saloon Car Club of Roma District Incorporated Easter event to the value of $5,000 and draw the funds from the sponsorship budget GL 2887.2249.2001.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor O'Neill, would you like to speak, Councillor?
Yes, just following on from the conversation that everyone had, I do know there's a risk that other organisations will be asking for this money, but I do feel for the Saloon Car Club because out of the Easter festivities last year, because of the rain, they would have suffered significantly because at the last minute they had to cancel, and there was a huge amount of work done by this organisation, I understand, to get ready for that, and it would have been quite distressing for them for what had occurred. So I think this is a special circumstance for them. Hopefully with Georgie and team working with organisations like themselves, they'll understand the need to get ahead of the game with the community grants in future. But I think in this instance, because of what happened last year, we should support this.
Okay, is any, would you like to, anyone else like to speak? Councillor Davis.
It is very hard to assess clubs when they do come to council that aren't in our grant round or our funding rounds. So we have a process for a reason. We have a policy that clearly states the expected sponsorship depending on attendance rates. So I would love to sponsor the Saloon Car Club of Roma and District. We have sponsored other events of 5,000 people and they get the same amount. This event is anticipated 1,500. I would be more comfortable, as per the policy, to sponsor them 2,000. So that's why I'll be voting against this motion today.
Anyone else like to speak for the motion? Councillor Hancock.
I'm going to support this today for much the same reasons Councillor Brompton is, that because of the circumstances around the Saloon Car Club event being cancelled last year and the costs that they would have had associated with that, I think this is a special circumstance and it doesn't fit into our community rounds. I can't wait till the policy comes back, Councillor Vincent, so we can get a handle on this sponsorship, because I think that we really do need to sort it out so it's fair across the board for people to be able to come to council and it's just not a willy-nilly request. And I certainly hope that the state government heard us loud and clear on Friday when we put forward that the cost of ambulances should not be borne by local government or community volunteers, and that should be borne by the state government. We provide in-kind assistance on top of sponsorship to our community groups, and I would like to hope in the future that the state might also provide some in-kind sponsorships in the way of ambulance support for events.
Anyone else like to speak for or against? Would you like to sum up, Councillor Brompton?
No, I don't think I need to.
Everybody good? Okay, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Against? 7-1. If we could get Councillor Flynn back in, please.
Bless you.
Thank you.
13.2.
Easter in the Country's Outback Tucker under the Stars requests use of Saleyards. Councillor Flynn, you have a conflict?
Yes, declaring a conflict of interest. On 13.2, Easter in the Country's Outback Tucker under the Stars request use of Saleyards. Declaring councillor as myself, Peter Flynn. The person with the interest related party is myself. The particulars of interest with the request is coming from the Easter in the Country organisation. The organisation that, the particular organisation I'm executive member of, and therefore I believe I have a prescribed conflict of interest and will leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Thank you. Councillor Flynn has left the room. Do I have any questions or a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I move the council approve Easter in the Country's request to hire out the Roma Saleyards to host the livestock and property Outback Tucker under the Stars as part of Easter in the Country on Thursday the 17th of April 2025. To assist Easter in the Country and facilitate their in-kind assistance requests, and that the costs are captured in a report to be brought back to council following the event.
Have a seconder? Councillor Hancock, would you like to speak, councillor?
Thanks, Mayor. This event has been going for a number of years. Council has supported it every year. It showcases what is a major asset for our region, being the Saleyards. Having attended myself in years gone by, locals get behind this, but of course it's a fantastic way to introduce the visitors as part of the Eastern Country weekend into our region, and in particular giving them a small taste of what is the largest Saleyards in Australia. And so I'm very happy to move this and support the event.
Anyone like to speak against? Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Vincent.
Happy to support this one as a major tourism festival for our region. It brings huge economic stimulus to our communities and our accommodation providers as well. So happy to, this is only one event in the whole weekend, but happy to support it.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up, councillor?
No, thank you.
We'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
8-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Thanks, guys.
Fourteen point two, Bassett Park Racecourse Trainer Agreement. Do I have a mover?
13.1, sorry.
14.1.
14.1.
Oh, sorry,
Page 89.
89.
I've gone too far.
14.1.
14.1, sorry. Expressions of interest grazing of cattle owned land lot 603 and 604 on Y2211 Yulbar. Councillor Seawright.
I have questions, if that's all right. Through the chair, Director Steve, I was just wondering if the residents around that, the blocks around those two blocks proposed, you have been consulted. Obviously, we don't want to be putting in a couple of horses or a horse to be torturing the neighbours that are living in residential blocks beside.
We haven't talked to the surrounding neighbours, but that lease has been in effect for a couple of years now, so there's been no complaints today.
No worries.
We've just got someone online, if you want to make sure you're speaking
sorry.
to nothing.
And again, sorry, through the mayor, so is it the same applicant for?
Correct.
Right, no worries. I'm happy to move if no one else has any questions.
Anyone else got any questions? No? When you're ready, councillor.
I move that council enter into a grazing agreement with Georgina Ellis over lot 603 on Y2211 and lot 604 on Y2211 for a 12-month period on the condition that public liability insurance certificate of currency is obtained and bond is paid to council prior to placing a horse on the land. 2, the property is listed as is and no improvements will be made by council. 3, council authorise the chief executive officer or delegate to execute the grazing agreement.
Have a seconder. Councillor Davis, would you like to speak, councillor?
No, thanks, it speaks for itself.
Anybody like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. 14.2, Bassett Park Racecourse Trainer Agreement.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks. Do I have a mover? Councillor Vincent.
I move that Council 1 enter into a non-exclusive racehorse trainer interim agreement with Jonathan Taylor until the 29th of September 2025 for use of the relevant facilities at Bassett Park. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to finalise and execute the agreement and any other associated documentation.
Have a seconder. Councillor Seawright, would you like to speak, councillor?
No.
Would anybody like to speak?
Can I ask a question?
Councillor O'Neill?
What's the dates thrown me?
They're just trying to bring them all into line.
Yeah.
Oh, because
Yeah.
on his form it's got commencing the 6th of the 1st 25 and concluding the 6th of the 1st 26.
Yeah.
But that's the stable hire agreement, not the racehorse. I understand, that's what put me off as well, but then I realise it's not the actual.
Correct. The stable hire, the casual stable hire agreement was in place prior to the trainers agreement being executed, just to cover insurances and stable hire fees.
Okay, thank you.
You all right?
Can I just ask a question
Yes.
as well?
Yeah.
Thank you, through the chair. On the casual stable hire agreement, which is standalone until the trainer signs the user agreement, racehorse trainer, doesn't have the amount in our casual stable hire agreement. Is that 20 mil as per the training, the Bassett Park user agreement racehorse trainer? Through the chair, yes, yes, it is a $20 million.
That's standard 20 million.
Thank you.
It's interesting to note in the certificate of currency from Racing Queensland, their excess limit of liability is 15 million. Yet we are asking for 20 million.
I think 20 mil's pretty standard these days, isn't it? Anybody else got any questions? We're all good? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. Thanks. Thank you. 14.3, applications through Regional Arts Development Fund RADF Program 2024-25. Morning, ladies. Do I have a mover? Councillor Brompton.
I move that Council 1 endorse the RADF Committee's grant assessment recommendations in supporting the Wallumbilla Women's Wellness Weekend application for $3,831 and Maranoa Artists Incorporated application for $1,992. 2, endorse new RADF Committee member Jason Gregg to join the RADF Committee as per the committee terms of conditions. Can I add a third one too, please, Kel? 3, receive a revised terms of reference for the RADF Committee to be brought back to Council.
I've got some questions as well.
Yeah.
Just based around, sorry, Councillor Brompton, just in regards to like the applicants, and forgive me for not knowing a huge amount about the RADF side of things. With any group to receive like funding, do they have to be like a not-for-profit group or?
Through the chair, yes, they do need to be like a non-for-profit group. So any community group that's not making a business out of their group, yes, they do.
Cool. And without again, forgive me if I've missed it. Just in regards to like in the report, just that Women's Wellness Weekend, like what group is it? Like, is there a?
Yes, so with that particular application, it's been auspiced by Zonta.
Yep.
So Zonta are the ones
Cool.
that.
I just was missing out of the kind of missing out of the report. So it would be nice just to see which group was hosting. Sorry, I could just.
No, that's.
I welcome. I love the idea that it's happening. It's just like to know what group was hosting it for our information, so to speak.
Yep.
Yeah, it's usually Zonta.
Yep. Yeah, that's really cool.
Do I have a seconder before I go?
Madam Mayor, can I have a question? Oh,
yeah, I just
sorry.
seconded by Councillor Hancock, but yes, go ahead, Councillor Burkett.
Yeah, mine's just a query. Has a member pulled out of the committee for the new member to come in, or you can just add to them? Just curious, that's all.
Through the chair, it was identified that the current members, some of the current members on the committee have stood their term. So with the RADF committee, you can stand for 2 years plus be put in for another 2 years after that. We have a committee member that's been in for 4 years now and has decided to step back. So that's why we were looking for a new member to replace that member.
So just on that, should that...
Thank you.
Should that be in this? Oh, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Excuse me too.
Yeah. And a gentleman at the table, that'll be good. Yeah, I'm impressed. Councillor
Can I
Hancock.
speak to it, or you got questions still?
No, I'm just wondering if the mover would be interested in point 4, that council write to the outgoing members and thank them for the contribution towards the RADF committee for their term.
Yes, I'm happy for
with that?
Yeah,
Councillor.
thank you.
Anyone else got any questions? Anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up,
I
Councillor?
haven't spoken yet.
Oh, sorry. Go for your life. So sorry.
So, yes, look, continued applications for the RADF. There was quite some discussion this time around some of the terms of reference and the issues around being sure that we were doing things correctly. So that's why I've added to this that a new terms of reference come back to us. So the committee need to work on that and come back to council. We just need to be clear on some of the things about multiple applicants and you know, how many they can do in a year, and to make sure we're meeting the RADF guidelines, which haven't been updated for a while. And the discussion about the new member too, we need to look at that terms of reference. It's hard to get people on some of these committees, and sometimes the expertise, if they all go off at the one time, we could lose a lot of expertise. So it's timely to really look at that terms of reference and how the committee members come on and off that committee and what is the appropriate term for them. So that's, I mean, we've talked about it already, but I just formalised it through putting it through the council resolution. And just thanks Councillor Hancock. I neglected to thank the outgoing member for this time, and certainly worth a letter from council for their ongoing commitment to this.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Hancock.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor, just welcome to Kim. Congratulations on your new appointment as the Regional Arts and Cultural Officer. So I hope you enjoy your time in that position, and we look forward to working with you in that position. Also like to congratulate Jason Gregg for his appointment. We're looking forward to having a male on our committee. And from all accounts, it looks like that he will bring some wealth of knowledge to the volunteer role. To want to acknowledge the volunteer role of the outgoing members. They give up their time, they bring their community knowledge to the table, and we really appreciate what they do for us and the community. And also like to congratulate, you know, if this is supported today, the two great projects, the Wallumbilla Women's Wellness Weekend and the Maranoa Artists, on their applications. I really would like to thank the community for really getting on board and supporting the RADF funding. It has been great uptake, and we just encourage the community to continue to use this funding as a source of being able to provide such great community events and workshops for the broader Maranoa.
Very good. Anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up, Councillor?
Just something I forgot to add, and I following on from Councillor Hancock, yes, congratulations to Jason Gregg. Really looking forward to him coming on to our committee and the expertise he can bring to that, which will be really wonderful to have a different set of eyes and some more input to the committee. So yes.
All right. On that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. Thank you, ladies. That's it for open. Has anyone got any conflicts for close? Oh, you got a late. Oh, sorry.
Do we do it first?
Madam Mayor, through you, could happy to move the agenda items around, but I'd like to be able to consider the late one maybe after morning too, so we have time to actually read the report.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
CEO Rob, do I need to move?
It's a late one anyway, so it's.
So it can go after
so we
close?
just go straight to the confidential and deal with this as a late.
Yeah, thanks.
If someone could, no one has any conflicts before we go into closed? No. Councillor Hancock.
Happy to move. I move that in accordance with the provisions of Section 254J3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, that Council resolve to close the meeting to the public at 9:47 a.m. to discuss confidential items that its councillors consider is necessary to close the meeting. In accordance with Section 254J5 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the following table provides the matters to be discussed and an overview of what is to be discussed while the meeting is closed. Agenda item C1, tender 25006, Roma Denise Spencer Memorial Aquatic Centre. And that's all.
Seconded, Councillor O'Neill. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. We're in closed. Councillor Hancock. All those in favour?
Yes.
8-0. Noting that Councillor Flynn is not in the room. Okay, let's go on to confidential. C1, tender 25006, Roma D. Spencer Memorial Aquatic Centre. Do I have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that council receive and note the report.
Have a seconder? Councillor Brompton. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Thank you.
Anyone like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
8-0. We have one in the late, L1, Don Ross Historical Collection. Do I have a mover? Councillor Searoyd.
No, I have a conflict.
Oh, sorry, go. Sorry.
I'd just like to declare a conflict of interest on item L1, the description Don Ross Historical Collection. The declaring council is myself, Councillor Brendan Seawright. The person with interest is my wife, Kristen Seawright. Particulars of interest is my wife is the secretary of the Yulba Development Group, who I mentioned in the report. It is a declarable conflict of interest, and I will leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Thank you. Councillor Searoyd has left the room. Do I have a mover? Councillor Hancock.
I move that Council 1 receive and note the report. 2, acknowledge that both the Yulba Development Group and the Cobb & Co Changing Station Museum Group have been consulted about the Don Ross collection.
Seconder, Councillor Vincent. Can I just ask, what does that mean exactly then? Like they've been consulted, as in then the actual group's going to make up their mind whether they want it?
So as of last night, the Yulba Development Group held a special meeting, and they voted on whether they wanted to purchase one of the carriages, and it was in the affirmative, they do. And that will make part of a future report.
Okay. Oh, okay.
They'll approach the collection directly.
So they're going to do the purchasing though, it's just finishing the,
All right. Councillor Hancock.
I've got a question.
Yes, Councillor Hancock.
Through the Mayor, is it possible if the collection list can be circulated to council? Because they've written to council, have they?
no, it was brought.
No, Councillor Hancock let
I
us
understand
know.
there was probably some correspondence going back a little while ago. I haven't seen a list at all. There was a report tabled 2 weeks ago, just say, can we consult with the two groups?
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, but there was. I understand there was probably correspondence before that. This report's in relation to that report, that notice last meeting. So
I just wonder, would it be worthwhile us? I know we're not flush for cash and we should consider everything, but I mean the Cobb & Co is a big thing for us in terms of tourism, economic for the region. Is it worthwhile council actually having a look at the collection to understand whether there was any desire or appetite? I'm not saying there is.
Were they buying the main coach though, by the look of it, that Yulba was keen to buy that main Surratt coach?
Councillor Hancock.
So the background to this is that the Don Ross Historical Collection was offered to, council was contacted, myself as a councillor and also our council staff was contacted via our correspondence, mine was via a phone call. From that correspondence, it was tabled at a Cobb & Co Museum Committee meeting, where the collection was put forward, and it was firstly offered to the Cobb & Co. Well, it's actually offered to council and the Cobb & Co committee. Their recommendation back to council was that they didn't wish to purchase or have council to purchase on their behalf the 2 coaches. But they may be interested in some of the smaller items that's in the historical list. And so that's still on the table for them. But they would look at purchasing that out of their funds. And so because their recommendation to council is, don't purchase this on our behalf, then that offer then went to the Yulba Development Group as the other town who, according to our tourism identities, share that Cobb & Co festival, Cobb & Co uniqueness to both their towns. And so that's how come it's then ended up in the Yulba Development Group's hands as to whether they would like to purchase it or not. But as for the Don Ross Historical Collection, I agree with Councillor O'Neill. I think it would be great for council to be able to have a look at that collection themselves to see whether there is anything in there that we think is worthwhile.
Yeah, we do. It'd be 0.3.
I just note that it says it closes the end of February. We've only got.
That's
the closed.
That is
offer.
right. That is a
So then it
closed
opens
offer
to the public.
to to council or the communities.
Can I just ask a question before you?
Yep.
It was I just noticed that everywhere but Baringa was asked or consulted with, like there's a museum out there, and we had, it'd be similar sort of stuff across the whole region, like whether it's Cobb and Co or whatever. Is that able to be asked as well, or?
So, Councillor Burkett, the reason that hasn't happened is simply because, well, from our point of view, the offer was only made to the Surat community and the Yulbar community because of Don Ross's connection with those communities and the Cobb and Co Festival. I'm unsure.
I get that, but it's got Roma, Airport, Saleyards. Sort of gone out of the scope there.
Meeting last night, it wasn't raised there.
If I may, Madam Mayor, I only included that in the report just to mention to the council that there's a possibility that those assets, not only are they specific to Cobb and Co, but when it becomes a public sale situation, that council could possibly buy one, or other groups might be interested. So, and they could be located at different museums around the region.
So point 3.
Thanks, Matt.
Council seek the
The council be provided with the historical list.
collection.
Yep.
Yeah.
Matt, do we have that, or do we have to go and find that?
Pardon?
Or do we have a list?
Yep, we have a list. We're comfortable sharing that. Yep.
So we should be able to bring that back next meeting.
Well, it can just be circulated immediately after this, and that might trigger a further report, Rob.
Yeah, I was actually going to circulate through the LDOs. I don't know if you and then they could more broadly talk to their groups if they wanted to.
So I don't think we have the right to do that at the moment. That the offer was made. This offer has been made to the Surat and Yulbar community first as a closed offer, and then it goes out publicly after that. And that's just simply because of the relationship between Don Ross
connection.
and the Yulbar
Okay.
Festival.
Do you think Don would mind to circulate it to us to have a look at though?
It has been circulated to council because the correspondence has gone to council,
Oh, okay,
to
righto.
council staff.
Yeah,
I think that, sorry, just so I'm clear,
Yeah.
Madam Mayor, through you, it was just council's query was, can that list be circulated to the councillors? And we can do that this afternoon, so. So just how council's seen the list.
Good.
Councillor Burkett, you right?
Yeah, no, good.
All right. Councillor Hancock, did you want to speak or did you speak?
Definitely.
I don't think I have spoken, but I just want to acknowledge the great opportunity to have a look at Don Ross's historical collection from the Surat and Yulbar towns and the community. Once again, just acknowledging Don Ross's contribution to both those towns and our Cobb and Co Festival.
Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
7-0.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Kel, who's seconded that one, sorry?
Councillor Vincent.
Vincent, yeah. Just get
Someone's got to bring councillor
Searoyd.
Searoyd in. Which
Yep.
way is he?
There he is.
Here he is.
Sorry, Jim.
There's no further business. Thank you all for your attendance today, and I'll close the meeting at 10:54 a.m. Thank